Hi, welcome to DIY with Gayle in the Ketchikan Public Library. Welcome to my space. Today I'm going to show you how to make a glasses holder. I keep throwing my glasses, my sunglasses, into my purse and scratches. So these are very simple and nice and padded and quick and easy. The first thing you'll need is a piece of fabric cut to 8.5 by 4.5. You'll have to make up your mind if you want a nice little scalloped edge. If you do, what I did was fold it in half and then I made a scallop. And you could just do it, excuse me, straight across if you'd like. Once you have your pieces cut out, which you will need 2 pieces for your main fabric, your outside fabric, 2 for your lining, and 2 of a fleece to make it nice and soft so your glasses don't get scratched. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your 2 outside fabrics, the fabric that you want showing, and place your fleece on top of that on the wrong side. Okay, let's look at that again. Here's your right side. You want to place your fleece on the wrong side. Okay? Then we're going to flip them over and place them right sides together. I'll grab my sewing machine over here. And all we're going to do is we're just going to sew around here. Okay, all the way around on this one. And I'm doing it at 1/4 of an inch. Thread in there. There we go. Okay. Make sure your needle is down when you turn. Okay. My fleece is hanging over further than my fabric, so I'm making allowance for that because I'm going to cut that off. My thread broke. Give me just a sec. I don't know why that happened. It's being stubborn. If you don't know how to thread your machine, there are books on it at the library, and there are books, YouTube videos. You can look up your exact sewing machine and go for it. Look at that, my thread was cut long ago. All right, 1/4 inch all the way around, as I said before. Needle down to make the turn. And then back up the last side. And as you can see, this is nice and thick and fluffy, so we're going to need to trim some of that away. And we're going to get up nice and close to our sewing line and trim that away. Make sure I got all of my parts. I'm going to turn this right side out. Go ahead and poke your corners in. I have a little, my Harry Potter wand that I use for poking. And there's the outside of your glasses holder. Isn't that cute? All right, let's do the lining. So the lining is our second fabric that we did here. Let's Make sure I have right sides together. Yes, I do. Now we're going to leave a small opening so we can turn our glasses case right side out. So I'm going to start, it doesn't matter where I start actually, so I'm just going to start at the top. As long as I remember to stop on the bottom and leave that opening, we're okay. Again, you can see it's just a straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Unless I go really wonky, then it ends up some other. Okay, I need to go back just one. Yes. Oops, see, I did it. I forgot to leave my opening. Okay, well, you know what happens. Do you know about seam rippers? Okay, so I need my opening down here. Seam ripper just goes right under that thread right there and pops it. And if I'm lucky, I can actually get it to pull out. And that's what happens. You get going and you just forget. All right, there we go. So what I did is I pulled the seam all the way back to here, okay, because I need to have this open in order to turn my glass case right side out, okay. So I'm going to put it back under here. Okay, then up to my corner, and again, needle in the fabric when you turn. And then right up to the tippy top. All right. I need to do an adjustment on my sewing machine. It's got a little bit of a thing here. Let's go and move that back. There we go. All right. We're going to turn that right side out also. On this one, you do need to clip your corner, the 2 corners at the bottom, just so you don't have all that, excuse me, bulk there when you turn it. You don't need to grade those seams unless you want to. They're not as bulky as with the fiber stuff in it, the fill. All right, got it right side out. Okay, wait a minute here. Okay, don't turn it right side out. Gayle was wrong. We're going to put this one inside. Okay. Okay, so putting that one right sides together, putting it right in there. Okay, and then you're going to want to lay it out. And that's going to be helpful having that little hole at the bottom there too. Okay. Get your seams put against each other, because you know the first thing you put together on this is going to be seams. It's always get those seams matched up. Take a pin. Well, my pin holders are at the pin cushions are at the library right now. We made pin cushions, so we have a little display at the library showing some of the stuff that I've made and that you can make here. And also, just in case you didn't know, we are on YouTube. Okay, so you see I got the 2 sides pinned. Now I'm going to go to the middle of my scallop here. And same thing on this side, get my scallop. Okay. Now, this does not fit around the arm of my machine, so I will have to kind of play with it to get it in here to do it. Okay. And I am going to go right along the edge. So I am using my presser foot, this edge, for my seam allowance along the edge of my scallops. And just go slow and easy. And because there are valleys, we of course then have to do a little bit of pivoting there too. So you have to get your valley, make a little turn. Make sure that your presser foot or your needle is down when you do those little valleys. Okay. Up over the mountain, over the scallop, and then here we are coming down again. And you'll have to make sure that you're pulling out in the back a little bit so the back part of your glasses holder will not flip under there. This is nice, slow work, especially if you want it to be nice and rounded. And down to another valley. And I'm going to help along right about there. Pull pin up. And see, just a small pivot, and then my presser foot is right even with that next scallop. But I need to go underneath and pull out again. There we go. Nice and slow, and you'll have some beautiful scallops. Okay, down into our valley again, making sure that fabric's not in there. It should be right about there, and there it is. Okay, just go over your stitching a little bit so that you have it kind of locked into place. And of course, we will need to do a little bit of snipping, clipping down to the valley. Be very careful you do not get your seam allowance. Okay, this is what is going to make it so it will make that nice, beautiful, rounded scallop. We just little ones, just little ones. And we can take this off. This is going to be thick and so we're going to just cut that off. I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. That's where all those seams are. Okay, and then I'll finish clipping. Just nice and slow. And this is where you know if your scissors are sharp or not. All right, once you have that all done, we go back down to the bottom of our glasses holder. Remember, we left that opening. And then go in there and I grab it at the bottom, and then I take it and pinch up these other sides to bring them together to get it back out. Basically the same thing I did when I put it in, when I pinched it together. See that? Just makes it a little bit easier. And then pull gently. Okay. Take a needle and thread and hand sew that closed right there, okay? And then once you've got that sewn closed, poke it in. Again, using something that has a point that you're not going to put through your fabric, okay? And get it poked in there. It's really hard to do with your hand, believe me, I tried. And then come on back up here. I'm going to turn that light off. I don't know how it is on the camera. And that's when you have to pull your little scallops out. You just go in there and wiggle them out, okay? And you can do a top stitch on here if you'd like to make a top stitch. I do not want to put a top stitch on mine. Actually, I'll do it just to show you guys. I'll show you guys how to do it. So just make sure you've done your finger pressing, okay? Making sure everything is down. Okay, and then to top stitch it, we just bring it back over here. And again, start at a seam, okay? And this is going to be tight also. Oh, that was probably why I thought I didn't want to do it. It's tight. Again, I'm going to use that presser foot as my seam allowance. Start well, not well, but you know, a little bit before that. And it's going to need some help getting through there. There we go. It's very thick on those seams, so you'll have to work it. And then just make gentle little scallops. That way you won't have to pick it up. And you should be able to just follow the roll nice and gently. Make sure to move the fabric behind so you don't get the other side of your glasses holder in underneath the stitching. Here we go again. This is going to be a tight seam. Oh, look at that. I sewed this tight and it went fine. Just never know. And then when we get to the point where we started, get your strings out of the way and go just a couple of stitches over to lock it all into place. There you go. You've made yourself a beautiful little glasses holder. I get my strings cut off. Now you can always put embellishments on this. I don't know what oh, there it is. I'm not going to. I want to actually put one in my visor, up above my visor. And there's my glasses holder. And check it out. They actually fit. I checked. Maybe one beside my bed too. All right, you guys. Mask on. See you at the library. And so on.